Thank you for everyone joining us this Friday afternoon. We're really excited today to show you the latest version of TrueEdit, the TrueEdit 2.0 platform. What we're going to do today is go through the TrueEdit platform, talk about what it can do at its core, but really focus on the latest features of TrueEdit. And so in the TrueEdit 2.0 platform, we'll be talking about the new features that we brought out, including integration with Adobe InCopy, our latest addition to the TrueEdit platform, the TrueAuthor Editor, which will allow you to author responsive HTML content right in your browser. And then we'll talk about how you can bring that content back into print. And that's something really, really exciting. We'll talk about that later on in the presentation, so please hang with us. And then lastly, we'll talk about how we can integrate from TrueEdit to over 500 cloud-based applications. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Just share my screen here. And we'll start in the web browser with the TrueEdit web client. You'll see here I'm logged into TrueEdit, and for those of you that are new to TrueEdit and have never seen this before, let's just take a little lay of the land here. We'll start within this interface, which is the My Jobs interface. This shows me all of the items that have been assigned to me. So you can see over here some metadata that shows it's assigned to me. I can see what status each item is in, what type of job it is, and of course over here on the left I can see the name of it. And you can see I've been assigned to work on an issue of content from my magazine, and inside that issue I can see the individual stories. I have several HTML articles here that are part of our TrueAuthor platform, and I have the whole TrueEdit 2.0 project, which includes all the files we'll be looking at today, the InCopy functionality, our integrations, and TrueAuthor. And TrueEdit, it should be said, has what we refer to as a mutable hierarchy. So within the system, we can organize content in any way that makes sense to an organization. And that means for magazines, we can organize things by title and then by issue. For agencies, we can organize things by client, and then within the client, we can organize things maybe by title if they're producing a magazine for the client, by project if they're producing marketing collateral or other marketing product. And we can organize things generally by project. And within those projects, of course, we can have sub-projects. And in the case of my TrueEdit 2.0 project here, I can then get down and I can see my individual documents. This allows me to organize the content in the way that makes sense to my individual teams. Within TrueEdit, we have interfaces both within the web browser and within the Adobe toolset. We'll look at one of those tools, which is the Adobe InCopy interface, a little bit later. But you'll see right within Adobe InDesign, I have a plugin that runs a panel right inside InDesign, which allows me to access any of the jobs, be able to check them out, and open them up on my workstation. So in this example here, if we wanted to work on a layout, I could just click in the first column here. It opens up on my workstation, and I can see all of the content and even gather content to be able to be used in the InDesign layout simply by dragging and dropping it onto the page. Now, let's take a look at TrueEdit 2.0 functionality. The first bit of functionality we're going to look at is our integration with Adobe InCopy. For those of you not familiar with Adobe InCopy, and there might be a few of you on the line, Adobe InCopy is the companion application to InDesign. It allows you to get a full WYSIWYG view of content as it appears in an InDesign page, but is focused on authoring and editing tools for a content person. And so within TrueEdit 2.0, we now have a TrueEdit panel that exists right inside InCopy. Just like you saw in the web client and in InDesign, I can see my jobs. I can go and look at all jobs within the system. And within this, I have the ability to see both the layouts that are available and individual InCopy stories. And what's nice about this integration here inside TrueEdit is that I can work with either of those items. Because TrueEdit knows this InCopy content is connected right to this InDesign layout, I can simply click to check out the headline, and it knows to open up the InDesign file that InCopy file is placed in so that I can edit the content like you see here. And everything that I'm doing is, of course, tracked and versioned within the system. So if I make a change to the headline and I check it in, I will be prompted with a check-in dialog where I could assign that headline to another member of my team. I can move its status forward in the workflow so everyone knows we're currently editing the headline. And I can capture any other custom metadata we want to track about that information or about that content. When I click OK, my changes will be saved back to the TrueEdit servers with a full version history so we can go back in time at any point. Now that I'm in the InDesign document, though, we make it very easy in InCopy for editors to hop from area to area for editing. So if I want to, I can go into this body copy here and just click. It will ask me if I want to check out that story. I can do so, make my changes here, and when I'm done, I can even go into the flyout menu here to check in. Now in that flyout menu, we have a number of other bits of information available here. You'll see here we make it possible for a user to make an assignment of this content right within the interface. So without having to go to the TrueEdit panel or go back to the TrueEdit web client, I could go and assign this to one of my colleagues. They'll receive an assignment notification by email and any note that I left. Now we did mention about versioning, and versioning is very important. And sometimes, we might need to go back in time. So you'll remember, of course, I made a big change to the body copy here. We want to revert that. So I'll just choose to revert that to a previous version. TrueEdit will go and gather the older version of the asset. And as you can see here, it simply restores it right away. So we have the ability, we don't have to go and look at a preview of an older version and copy and paste. We can actually go and revert right within the interface. Otherwise, everything you might know of the Adobe InCopy InDesign workflow where changes that are made in InCopy show up in InDesign. So remember, I made a change to that headline. If we were to close InCopy here, go back over to InDesign, and let me just reopen my layout here. You'll see here that the InDesign user will see that change as well, automatically laid in. So that's really exciting, and that's really valuable for a workflow where right to fit is very important. And we support workflows where users might start in Microsoft Word and end in Adobe InCopy, as is very common for a lot of our clients. And that allows them to manage all of the files, whether it's Word content, InCopy content, images, or layouts right within TrueEdit. So now let's look at something else that's part of the TrueEdit 2.0 release, and that is the TrueAuthor platform. With TrueEdit 2.0, we are announcing TrueAuthor, which is our cloud-based collaborative HTML authoring environment. It allows me right within a browser to access jobs that are automatically versioned in the system that have that are HTML5 ready, fully responsive. And this is a good example of one, and it happens to actually be our TrueAuthor product page. You'll see here in my preview mode that this is a fully responsive experience that I can resize and change to different dimensions. And as you expect, this might be what it looks like on a desktop. This might be tablet, all the way down to what it might look like on a mobile phone. And it's not just flat content, it is fully interactive, so you can see here some animation. I can pop up some video here, like you see, and everything else like that. Within the TrueAuthor interface, there is a layout mode, and in the layout mode, designers have the ability to actually build the responsive grid. This is based on a Bootstrap framework, so I can come in here and lay out my rows and my columns and my components, and attach all of my CSS properties and link it to classes and things like that. And then I have an authoring interface, and this is where a content specialist, someone who probably has no knowledge of HTML and HTML tagging, can go in and author a headline and author a deck and content like that. And just to show you what that might look like for someone starting from a template, let's go and open up an earlier version of that. I can see this has been assigned to me. And I'll notice there's a note here. It's telling me to please complete the TrueAuthor product page. So let's go ahead and check that out. And when I do, I'll open up here right in my browser. And here I can come right into the edit mode. And I can come in and begin authoring my content. And you don't want to wait for me to type all this, so I'll just go ahead and enter in some content there, copy and paste. And I can go in and I can link to content here. I can gather it from TrueEdit, browse from a computer, or point it to a URL. And as we expect, some customers may want to even connect this to their digital asset management system. But in my case here, I'm just going to go ahead and pop in that image. And I can continue on down and put in more content. I'm sure you can follow along with that. But let's just show you what browsing for content from TrueEdit is like. And so I'm going to go ahead here and search for an image. I can see that animated GIF that I got here. Go ahead and bring that in. And if we were to look at this in preview mode, we can see what that looks like here. And you can see it is fully responsive, and TrueAuthor does know how to collapse content upon itself. So the last bit of this is the animation, or the video, excuse me. You notice when I click here, nothing's happening, and that's because we haven't authored that yet. What we're going to go ahead and do is switch over to the design mode. This is where a designer might come in after the content author has done their initial work. They could come into the system, access their CSS properties, and they could go and say, you know, when someone clicks on that image, I want this YouTube video to play. And just like that, again, without having to know lots of HTML content, I can go ahead and see all my content here. I can click, and that video that you saw on the final page does play. So just like that, I can create a fully responsive HTML page. And from there are plenty of places I can publish that content to. I can take that content from TrueEdit and deliver it to a web CMS like WordPress. I can take it out and deliver it to a mobile app platform, whether that's AVM Mobile or another platform that you use. I could even deliver it into an RSS feed that might go somewhere else. So the sky's the limit from there. It is fully tagged HTML content, and regardless of what digital platform you use today to publish your content to, HTML is a vehicle to get there. So how do we extend that, and how do we go even further? Well, let's take a look at another one of our layouts here, this Alaska layout. What we hear from a lot of customers is that they want content that is fully responsive in their digital environment. You can see that here. I've got my slideshow. And let's look at a different version of that layout, a tad bit simpler for demonstration purposes. Here I've got my headline, I've got my deck, and I've got my body. In an upcoming version of TrueEdit, we will be saving each of those independent text threads as jobs inside TrueEdit. And that allows you, just like you see with InCopy and Microsoft Word content and InDesign files, to track workflow for each of the elements that make up this HTML author story. But that's not all. What it also enables us to do is to break that content up and make it possible to bring that content into InDesign. And so what we are enabling folks to do in an upcoming TrueEdit 2.0 release is bring that content right into an InDesign document. So I'll just go ahead and open up an InDesign layout here, similar to the one we were working on at the beginning, but you'll see here this one's formatted for a landscape view. And what we'll be able to do is right from TrueEdit, take that content that is coming from TrueAuthor and place it right into the InDesign document. And because it's tagged content to begin with, we can bring it in with some styling already pre-applied. The key benefit here, though, is the designer is not limited to that styling. They still have the ability to come in here in InDesign and make changes that are specific to their print workflow. They might go ahead and choose a different color here. And we'll go ahead and make that a little lighter where it's easier to see. They might come in here and choose a different font, and I'll just go ahead and choose the first font I find. And do all of those things. They can come down here and see, well, this content was never actually styled, so we'll go ahead and use Quick Apply here in InDesign, and we'll apply our styling. The real benefit here is that by placing this content from TrueEdit into the InDesign document, we have not lost the link to the original TrueAuthor file. That means that if a content author is working on a story for both print and digital consumption, and they make a change after that content has gone from TrueAuthor to InDesign, maybe they come in here and change the headline to Exploring Alaska, they save that back to TrueEdit. What that means is that TrueEdit will know that it has to update InDesign with those latest changes. So now if we go back into InDesign, we'll see here that Explore Denali has become Exploring Alaska, with all of the formatting of the InDesign user applied being preserved, including the formatting of the content here. Now I did this for demo purposes, just dealing with paragraph and character styles, but we should know that we can do this to do things like manual ragging of text. There's endless possibilities of what can be done here, and we can only begin to scratch the surface in this sneak peek. The last area we're going to talk about in the TrueEdit 2.0 platform is our integration with other cloud-based systems. In short, TrueEdit 2.0 allows you to bring content into TrueEdit from other systems like Dropbox or Basecamp, be able to create a new project in Basecamp and automatically create the corresponding job in TrueEdit that will track all the documents and the layouts that become part of the project, and be able to take content from TrueEdit and send it out, whether that's going to WordPress or to Facebook or even to Twitter. And a good example of that is content you might have seen if you're following me on Twitter. So you'll notice here, if I go to my Twitter account, yesterday I automatically put up a post here that said 1 day until the TrueEdit 2.0 sneak peek. And then this morning, TrueEdit automatically posted to Twitter and said today is the TrueEdit 2.0 sneak peek. The benefit here is I didn't have to do this manually. I simply came in here into TrueEdit and I created a job for each of those posts. And I created metadata inside that job that said, I want this to be posted on this date and at this time. And automatically TrueEdit was able to go and post that content without me having to worry about it. In this way, our content teams can go and author a fully multi-channel strategy for their content, author their digital web content, their app content, their print content, and even their social media content, all in a single authoring workflow.